So I think my opinion on this has evolved over the years, as it should, as we learn more, as we try out different things. Um, I personally think that it's not as important as some people probably put it out to be. I think that, at least for me, I used to spend a lot of time I used to spend maybe 10 to 20 minutes before I even got into my workout doing like dynamic stuff, doing mobility work, um, you know, going through the motions, band work, stuff like that. And I've actually dropped that down a lot over the past probably year or so. Um, but I do think that, and the reason for that is because I actually wanted to just spend a little bit more time actually, going through the movement that I was going to train that day. Right. And people kind of talk about like, oh, you need to activate your glutes before you can, go do a barbell hip thrust. You need to do all the booty band stuff and all of that. And like, do some dynamic stretching and dynamic stuff. But I think that it could be for the like realistic person who's going to the gym for like an hour. I'm like, I would much rather you spend that hour that you have actually lifting heavy shit and like, you know, spending time towards that. If you're someone who has extra time and you're like, I can go to the gym for 2 hours, an hour and a half, whatever, and you want to spend that time doing it, I think there's no problem with that. But I would say like prioritize what is like important for you and what you're really trying to do. Right. I do, however, think there is definitely merit to, the first 5 minutes, like getting your heart rate up, right? Getting like blood flowing. I think that's really important versus going to the gym and just like putting a heavy ass barbell on your back and squatting or whatever you're doing. Definitely need to get your heart rate up, get things moving a little bit, obviously to prevent just injury in general. But I think that, in my personal opinion, I think that, one, it just comes down to you and what you feel best with, because there are people who do feel really good if they do a little dynamic warm up before, which is amazing. Like, do that if that's what, feels good for you. But I don't think, if you're someone who, again, only has 45 minutes an hour, I would probably not, quote unquote, waste that time. And I would put it towards something that's going to be really a little bit more beneficial, which would just be like, okay, if you're about to barbell squat, we love barbell squats on this show, apparently, or whatever you're doing, right? Deadlifting. Just go get the bar, do some reps with the bar, work your way up in weight. And that shouldn't take more than like 5 minutes, unless you are someone who is lifting 400 pounds. And, the heavier the weight gets, probably the more warm up sets you need to really kind of, make sure that you're not getting injured in that. But yeah, it all depends, in my opinion, where you're at and what you have time for and what's most beneficial for you. Some people say doing some explosive stuff, or like if you're about to, I'm just going to use squat again, because I know you love those squats. Like if you're about to barbell back squat, it might, maybe get a little bit explosive and do some box jumps, right? Just to get explosive with it, get your nervous system kind of primed. I think those things are absolutely fine, but going and doing like 50 box jumps before you go to squat, like that doesn't make sense to me. Yeah.